lifetime that guided you and gave their perspective of what they gone through to help you and guide you through your situations. So it's just like, well, at the end of the day, your perspective, yes, it helped me, but it doesn't alterate what God's plan was in the beginning, because nothing can change what God has, or nothing can change God's will or His plan that He has for us. Even though at the end of the day, the devil tried to tempt Jesus Christ for 40 days and 40 nights while Jesus was in the wilderness, he could not change Jesus Christ's mind, because at the end of the day, he knew his purpose. He knew everything that was supposed to happen. Is going to happen.
And that's,
So,
but that's the difference between Jesus Christ and most men. Is that
right.
he knew, he knew, for one, he was prayed up, and then he was fasting, and that's why the devil was able to get in, because he was at a weak, he caught Jesus at a weak moment.
Right.
He was looking for some bread. He finished it was 40 days. He ain't ate nothing. He ain't drank nothing. He weak.
Right.
So just like us. We're weak, and everybody, so like, go back to perspective. It's funny how we got all these different perspectives, but then the devil knows exactly what everybody likes.
Uh-huh.
Some people smoke cigarettes,
Uh-huh.
but, cigarettes don't affect me. That ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't trip on cigarettes because that don't do nothing for me. But give me some candy, then I'm chop, 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 I'm all over the place with it, like, man, I'm like a candy, yeah, I'm
Right.
like, I gotta get it.
Right.
And then, so you throwing candy, or, you like women. So here comes the beautiful women, you just steady lusting over it. But for the next man, he don't give that to him. He give him something crazy. He's like, man, oh, you can't beat that. But then we judge him. Oh, you can't fight that, man? Oh, man, I can pass that on. But that's not your fight. That's not your thing. That's his thing.
But
that's
see,
his
then,
hood.
but then,
if that man catch your hood, you going to get caught up just like him.
But see, then we go back to the statement that you have made as far as being Christ-like.
Uh-huh.
Well, if we have people that's automatic, not automatic, because there ain't nobody automatic Christ-like, but, doing their testimonies in their fellowship and their perspectives. I mean, when we go through understanding that, just like you understand about judgment, just like how you would come to me if I'm going through whatever I'm going through, hey, look, this is what I've been through. I ain't here to judge you, whatever going on. It's your business, but I've been through whatever you're going through. Now I understand. At the end of the day, you still got to go through it. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. You come off with a perspective of no judgment.
Yeah, but you said it so hard, though, D. You said that's where your compassion come in at, is that it's like, okay, here's a good example. Take a person that they having a hard time in school. Okay, they're having a hard time in school.
Mm-hmm.
And they go home, and they somehow they talk to their mother, their parents, and they got a good relationship with their mom, and they feel it big, man, I'm having such this and that. And she said, yeah, baby, I remember I was in college. You know what I did? I did it similar to like this. So if you try this and do that, maybe that'll work out for you a little better. Now, just like you just said, she still got to go do it, but this time when she goes through it, it's that much easier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. It makes it easier for her to get into it versus being like, oh man, I gotta eat these vegetables, man. I want to eat the dessert first. I don't even want to touch these vegetables. But no, let's go ahead and just eat these vegetables, man, because that dessert gonna be so good. Because that's gonna be the last thing. Gonna be full, and everything gonna be gone.
I used to do that, man. I'm telling you, I used to say.
You know what I'm saying? So your testimony, it softens the blow.
Yeah.
That's like a person about to get kicked out. I've been kicked out of my house many times, evicted and stuff back in the day. But I can tell you what I did to get through that, and then what you need to do in the future not to have this thing happen to you no more.
Right.
But then if I was the same person still doing that, oh, you evicted? Girl, I was just going to call you, man, and ask you, can I stay with you, man? So you ain't got no apartment either, huh? But let me tell you what I used to do. How can you tell me anything when in the same situation? Matter of fact, you worse off than me. I still got my place.
Right.
You see how that works? But you soften the blow with you doing what you're supposed to do, and they seeing you doing what you're supposed to do. Even though they got to go through that fire, they like, man, I won't feel it that much. I'm gonna feel the heat, but it won't be that high because my man told me how to handle it, what to think about.
Well, that's what
that's just all. Like, that's what you're doing.
Right, that's what I'm standing in agreements with you on. 110%, I agree with you on, and I guess I'm explaining it, or my explanation is, throwing you guys off, but that's what I'm basically saying is,
okay.
The idea of what I have gone through. Well, at the end of the day, you up in age on me. Well, you've been married before, and you know I'm married. Well, you've been through some things that can give me some, hey, you know what? I've been through this and this and that. Well, when that time comes for me, I know what dang Pops had told me about that. Well, I'm gonna try to take what he said and try to. I don't feel that judgment there, you know. So even then, at an aspect, it's just like, you know. Well, let me say this: growing up, I had lived my whole life being prejudged. You know, I mean, I'm not. I know I'm not the only one. But coming from an aspect of, I used to be a judgmental person, especially when I first became in Christ and I understood the spiritual point. And used to make me mad because nobody understood what Jesus was really calling us to. And then again, Jesus had to stop and soften my heart. He said, "Well, remember where you started off at?" I'm like, "Dang God, you
right."
He busts you in your head sometimes when you need it. He's like, "Get right, boy." I'm like, "Oh, my bad, God. You right." And just like when I told you, Pop, the other day, man, you know, when I was placed with Anaya in my life, well, it's funny how God do things. He strategically do things to the point where I'm asking him, I'm all like, "Well, Lord, I don't know how to be a father like that, you know?" And on top of that, I don't even know how to be a son, you know? Then he said, "What? How do you say you don't know how to be a son when I've been that to you? For one, I've been a father to you." And I was like, "Well, I never really had a man figure in my life to raise a child in the way you needed me to raise her. I never had that spiritual aspect man in my life to help me understand how I need to raise this child spiritually, you know, especially being a God parent, you know, on top of that." So he's all like, "Well, what have I been to you?" I'm all like, "Man,
right,
wow." I'm like, "Okay, Lord."
See, that's the testimony.
Yeah.
He been a father to you because when you were a father, now you know how to be a father.
Yeah.
Everything that you're going through, there's a young man that's going to be going through they're going through the same problem. And so out of everybody to ask, they're going to come to you and ask you,
right.
"Man, I'm in a situation.
Right.
And I need to know how to get up out of it." And it's going to be something real simple. When y'all stand on the elevator and your spirit say, "Man, say something to him. Just say hello."
Yeah.
And in that 10 minutes,
it
you
happens.
say hello.
It happens.
That person starts telling you their whole life story, and you about to get off the elevator in 2 floors.
Man.
You know, if you didn't say nothing to them, y'all was going to have a nice quiet floor
until
somebody got off. Somebody got off.
Nah, Pops, you don't know how much that happened. And it's amazing. I love it because people do that on the bus. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, my God, today was, oh, my God." I'm all like, "Okay, what's you?"
Yeah.
I'm listening. I got a long drive. Come on, we talk. What's up? You know, and it really helps them out. You know what I'm saying? It's rewarding. It's rewarding. I thank God for it, man, because I mean, for one, you know, of course you get the glory out of that one because I'm all like, it's just really exciting to know that God is using you to be able to be that person, you know. And I think, man, that just really answered the majority question that we really had to ask is about the judgment thing. Well, allowing God to use you at that time will leave no room of judgment. You know, because, well, Jesus is not a spirit of judgment. Just like we go back on Mary the Magdalene. Well, when she was about to get stoned, well, you know, Jesus stepped in and it's like, "Well, don't sin no more. Go about your day." Wait, Lord. This lady sinned against you in, you know, whatever. This is what you have put, but you letting her go. Well, let's go to another. What about the lady that was at the well and she had, what'd she do?
Five husbands.
Yeah, 5 husbands.
5 husbands, and the one she was with, the one she was with wasn't her husband.
So then again, you ask. Well, Jesus always said that he wanted he. Well, you got to ask that question. What do Jesus want of me? Well, I can give you. He told the lady. He said, "I can give you everlasting water that you will never thirst again."
Right.
Well, dang, that started tripping me out because a lot of people would disown God or don't like God because they feel like he's too past judgment because they live too heavily in the Old Testament to where, yes, in the Bible, Jesus Christ was killing false prophets and things in that aspect. And reason why that Jesus Christ, and you know, please correct me if you guys feel that I'm wrong in it, but the reason why that I understood from my understanding, because false prophecy wasn't just only false prophecy. False prophecy was speaking upon evil spirits and evil things amongst people. So if anything, if you're speaking evil things, you are not of Christ. So why not destroy the enemy? It's only two places that you're gonna be able to go: heaven or hell. So in that, it just really, broke down like, well, you can't necessarily look at something and take your perspective and run with it. Just like, what Edgar had said before. Well, all perspective ain't a good perspective. It leads to destruction. And also in the Bible, I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but I know it's in Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 14. It says, "A man's ways are his thoughts will lead him to death." Well,
right.
Dang, that's crazy. That's huge. So you telling me the way I?
Because you go back in Proverbs. I think it's the third Proverb. I think it tells you, do not lean out into your own understanding.
Huh?
So right there. So because if you just not got God, if you got God, if you ain't got God in your head, then you're thinking about something your own, on you, and then what you gonna do? What are you gonna gravitate to? If God ain't a part of that, what are you gravitating to then?
Right.
That's where you gotta look at it. That's what's so scary. That's why you gotta have that Holy Spirit moving inside of you to say, "Nah, Mike B, that's you, homie.
Right.
No, that ain't God."
Right.
Because when people say, "Well, I ain't never heard God speak to me." Well, yeah, He speaks to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the radio's up, maybe it's too loud. But then when you know when He speaks to you, because He's not gonna say nothing evil. It's not gonna be nothing. Hey, go over there, cut that man out, man. You know he did you wrong, man. That ain't God.
Right.
If that's the devil, or that's you. Thinking that. But at the end of the day, that ain't of God.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. That's not being Christ-like, and that's that's not His spirit. So what is it? That's you then. That's how we be in the other world again. We acting just like this. We gonna judge them. We just gonna do
one thing is that a lot of times I'm still getting to know how the Lord speaks, and he tends to be pretty soft in his speech. It's like an implanted thought that you can kind of identify that's not yours. But in the same way, I found that that the devil or demon might speak to you the same exact way, and it all really depends on the message. And because people are so used to hearing the Lord speak to them in that one way, when they hear that same voice say do something bad, it can cause them confusion, and I can understand that. But you're right. You're absolutely right. It is the devil. It is evil, and you gotta be able to discern what that voice really is. I just want to get that out there. But
that is true though. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Edgar.
Also,
definitely right on that.
Also, and then I'm gonna add this, for people that is truly not understanding in a deep way that we, trying to break it down. Here's the thing that I definitely want to get out there. In the Bible, it also says, "Resist the devil, and he shall flee." Well, in that aspect, resisting the devil, it's not just walking away or whatever, because the devil's not gonna let you go that easy. That's why it's important to get the perception and understanding that God is trying to give, and that's why it's so important, like Edgar has said, being able to interpret, if that's God, and understanding when God is talking. He says His sheep will know His name. His sheep will know His voice. So in the aspect of when you build in that relationship with Him, you will gain the knowledge and understanding His voice. And one thing that I know, yes, His voice, and I agree with you, Edgar, His voice is like, when He's speaking to you, it's like a brush upon if you rub your hand against your arm and you feel like hair, you just not even touching your arm, but you just brushing your arm against your hair on your arm, that's how He kind of speaks. But a lot of times we try to grip our fists and squint our eyes and grit our teeth to try to get God to talk to us. But it's not like that, But we keep our mind, and one of the things that He shows is we keep our mind on Christ. We keep our heart on Him, and we keep seeking Him. That's how we resist the devil. In the Bible, like I said, it goes to saying that resist the devil and shall flee. Now I'm not saying that the devil's not going to come, because he's going to do what he's going to do. He's the devil. It's his job to try to kill you. It's his job to try to destroy everything that God has built in your life. It's his job. But at the same time, God already displayed that he
right
will.
there though.
Huh?
When you said resist the devil and he will flee.